Peace to the family. Peace to the family. So I was just having this conversation about frequency that I didn't even really get deep into the way I wanted to. But I wanted to kind of flesh out some thoughts because I actually think that frequency is very important. And it's a word that's often used a lot. It's often used a lot. Shout out to my good brother Alchemical. But I don't think it's understood enough. Shout out to Queen of Green. So like when it comes to frequency, there is a way that one can shift their frequency and change their life. Like I mean that. But you have to constantly operate on that frequency throughout the rest of your days. You ever felt that moment where you felt excited, overjoyous about something? That's a frequency. To stay there means that you will constantly attract things that's on that same exact frequency as you. But what happens is we go up and down the frequency ladder. So sometimes people have shame, people have guilt, people have apathy, people feel insecurity, people have fear. So therefore your life is bipolar because your frequencies are. So if you live a life where, you are able to operate at a cosmic level, right? And you can operate at the highest level and you can stay there. This is the secret of the elites. These are the secrets of people who know how to stay at that. And then some people can afford to sometimes, all right, they fell off a little bit, but they have a wealth of relationships, right? Wealth of assets, so that it's okay. They fall off a little bit because they can afford it. But if you live in poverty, you can't afford to stay in it. So that means that you can't afford to think as a poor person. If you stressed, you can't afford to think as a stressed person. If you broke, you can't afford to think as a broke person. If you lonely, you can't afford to think as a lonely person, because all you're doing is maintaining that frequency, which is maintaining their life. So the shift comes when you start to maintain a higher frequency. I feel good, I'm staying here. I feel enlightened, I'm staying here. I feel wealthy, I'm living that. So now all the conversations, the ideas, the people you're around, your moments in life, they are only emanating and magnified from that frequency. So I live like that. I was having a low frequency day, and I'm like, man, wait a minute, let me shift it. And it was just like this shift of attitude, perspective, right? And everything just changed from that moment. The whole day just shifted. The whole day shifted. The meetings I had shifted, because there's a way to see yourself as your highest self, right? And people will compliment you and react to you and interact with you as your highest self. But if you feel at your lower self, then people are going to react to you in that way as well. So most people give up their power. They have some power, but they give it up. Some people give up their power just through their insecurities and their fears, their doubts, their worries. People can feel all of that. Man, you're supposed to operate and move with confidence in everything you do. Like, I've never seen my brother Rashid insecure. So when somebody speaks to him, they're never going to speak to him as they're talking to an insecure man, right? So now the deals he get ain't gonna come from a place of insecurity, because it's gonna reflect the way that he makes them feel about him. And it's funny because this sounds simplified, but these are esoteric and occult secrets of time. But the way you maintain it, now that's the hard part, right? Because it can be a challenge once you get, especially if you get, think about the best you ever felt in life, the most elated you felt, the most accomplished you felt, the richest you felt. Now, think about the maintenance that's required to stay at that level. The maintenance that's required to stay at that level. It's like wealth is a fleeting thing for people, because once you get it, you have to maintain it. Then once you get to the used to the habits of maintaining, then you got to grow it. So the trick is, how do you see yourself? If I ask you to close your eyes and see yourself and see your reality, That's the only thing that you can produce at this moment in life. It's just the way you see yourself. You can't produce anything beyond that. You can't produce nothing beyond that. That's it. So people be asking me, why is people blocked? Listen, because you ain't on the same frequency. Why would you even want, to have access to somebody that don't even want to know you exist? Don't want to know about your moves, don't want to know about your life. Somebody said they exposed me. I hope you expose me to the world.
Please,
expose them to 19
don't
keys.
Threaten me with a good time.
Expose them to the God. When you operate at a jealousy frequency, right? It's like a man being a homosexual. He has confused feelings about another man and he want to be him. You don't operate at that frequency.
Hey, Keith, check this out. One time, we was in the war room going over some concepts, right? And some of the concepts that I was bringing about is somewhat provocative for our current culture because we live in a very soft era, right?
Yeah.
Not intentionally. So one of my guys said, "You can't talk about that. They'll kill you." I'm like, "Great. Amplify my message, please." Listen, when you don't live under the constraints of fear, under the illusion of fear, nothing is bad. Death is a great thing, especially when one has a message, because if one is taken out because of his message amplifies.
Mm-hmm.
It makes it so much greater. They won't touch our beloved minister because they know the world will know everything. It's coming out anyway, just a little bit slower, but that's a great thing, right? When you live a robust and a full life and you have nothing to be ashamed about, when it's time to go, that's a beautiful thing. It's an ascension, right? We're going to a better place. If life is good, why do we think whatever comes after life will not be good?
That's a fact.
So y'all got to separate this whole disillusion of fear of dying or whatever, right? We just say dying, right? And whoever articulated this notion that is bad is not us, not black people, right? This is most of the things that we live under in this Eurocentric society comes from Europe, right? So that's not an original mindset. It is not logical to be afraid of something that you will have to deal with. We all deal with it, and we should make it a joyous thing. When I have friends of mine who have a loved one that's on the last days, I say, look, stop being fucking sad around them. They probably holding on because your ass acting all pathetic. They ready to go. They ready to go. So when you get around your loved ones, show them love, be jovial, love on them, hug on them, and show appreciation so they can take off and not be worried, right?
That's a fact.
When my mother ascended, man, I didn't shed a tear. And it's not that I don't love my mother. I love my mother more than anything in life. But my mother is closer to me now, and I'm proud of her. She raised a G. You feel me? And she looked, we had such a celebration for a week straight. That was beautiful. And me and my family, we all in a group chat now. My mother brought us together in a meaningful way. And I think about her more now than I did before. Right. So we all gonna expire. It's not expired, it's just this shell, we're gonna grow out of it. And we ascend to something higher, something better.
You know what's beautiful about what you said? It got me to a thought. Because conversations are deeper in the dark. Mm-hmm. Right? And what I mean by that is imagine you talking to your woman and the lights are off. And all y'all hearing is each other's spirits and voices.
Right.
You're not looking at your face. You're not looking at anything. So it's like when a person is not there, because physically, all you seeing the light of matter, structure of who they are.
Right.
But when you get to go in the darkness and you think about them and you reflecting on who they were, they cared, their spirit, they love, it's deeper. Yeah. Right? It's deeper than anything that could ever be, because we deal with each other moment by moment. Right? But when we reflect, we think about all of the moments. Everything you mean to me, not just what this moment means.
And so sitting in them quiet spaces, for me personally, I could hear my mother's instructions very clearly. Very clearly. So people needs an overhaul of thinking and a complete reprogramming and a divorce from this current Eurocentric culture. You may live in America, but this is Europe. Don't get it twisted. This is an extension of Great Britain. All right? So, and that's okay. You don't have to, if you're free right here, none of this shit matters. We got our own. You got 19 keys right here. Blessing y'all every day. I just sat with him and Nick Cannon. Bro, brother Nick Cannon was so gracious. He just sat quiet and let my brother stream consciousness for like an hour, 2 hours. It was beautiful. You have amongst you ascended masters. Recognize it, right? And accept. Listen, but challenge us too. Ask us these questions, right? So we can thoroughly inform you of whatever concept that we're trying to give y'all, because it's streamed from a divine place.
My job at this point in time is to shift us into the highest levels of wellness on the planet, because I believe that's where all our wealth and all our power is going to come from. I've always seen myself as a unifier, and people always ask me what's the next level, and the next level is always these ideas, but I know what they really want. The next level is want me to have these tangible projects that they can be a part of, but I have to start with the concepts, because they have to be so big that it changes the world. Otherwise, me personally, and I'm not, see, everybody else has different ways that they're inspired, but me personally, it has to be something that changes the world. It has to, because that's what I was made for.
And because you on a God level.
Yeah.
It's not the regular dude level. You know what I mean? It's a God level. High school maybe that.
Right.
High school maybe it was culture, it was the community. But we're on God levels and God frequencies, so we got to do important work that might look scary or something, but it's cool.
It's supposed to look scary. It's supposed to be challenging.
Yes.
Man, if it don't challenge me, I'll be a pussy in life.
Listen, without great opposition, you can never be great.
Yeah.
You need a formidable task ahead of you.
But
what is there to be excited about?
My greatest times are my worst times. And the reason is because those are the times that made me who I am. When I was going through them, I probably hated them. But when I got through them, I loved who I became because of them. Right? Because without them, I wouldn't be who I am.
Right.
So people, they ask you your story. They're trying to find those moments of challenges and adversity you went through and how you became refined in who you are right now.
Ooh, I can't wait for this.
So, yeah, it's going to be good.
Cannot wait.
So there's so many people that's not embracing their dark times because they don't know what they're being prepared for.
They run from it.
You know? And it's very hard to get to this point of, let me find gratefulness in the worst thing that just happened to me in my life. But now you have a testimony. Now you have a story to share. Now you have a lesson you learn. And through everything you go through, if your mind is developed and matured, you learn and you become more after every single journey.
Bro, it's so simple, but it's so profound, right? And I really hope that they picking up on this, man. And look, I'm gonna go back to something you first said, like they want the tangible things, right? But the most important thing is this, what you give them right here.
Right.
That seed being planted right here, because things come and go. Look, I was supposed to be in Miami for an event tomorrow, and it's canceled.
You were supposed to be.
You know
that was
no, that's real.
This was God calendar.
That's a fact.
You know, it's
That's
two
a fact.
calendars.
That's a fact.
It's people get rerouted sometime, and that's just because that's what God had on your calendar. And that's why I was talking about synchronicity. Is all right, the thing happened, then you apply, okay, what was the reason why? God is in the why.
Right.
God is going to tell you this is why it happened. So we get caught up in the what's happening instead of the why. You understand me? So, I was supposed to go through here. I got a car crash. I got a breakup. My boss didn't give me a good example. My boss didn't give me the raise at the time I wanted, and then he offered me $1 raise.
So you quit.
And
no, $1.10.
$1.10, and I fired him because I
Yeah.
understood the why was
Like,
that I was supposed to understand my self-worth.
Like, how dare you?
Right now, but imagine if he would have came in there and paid me more than what at the time I thought I was supposed to get.
Right,
I would have
right.
became comfortable.
Exactly.
So there's so many people that don't know how to
for
find
you.
their meaning.
I got a perfect example for you too. So many years ago, some of y'all know my story, but you know I was a fugitive of justice, right? I absconded, and I left the country for a while, right? And all the homies was like, "Yo, you ever come back? You stay with me, stay with me." So I like, cool. But you know when you want to go, people don't expect you to be moving around and freely. They think you'll get caught pretty fast, right? And all my homies was scumbags at the time. Everybody was doing some dirt. So I ended up coming back, and I hit up one of my closest brothers. We like this to this day, right? He works with me. And I'm like, yo, bro, I'm here. Like, what's up? He's like, oh, nah, man, it ain't cool. I spooked him, right? Because he hot. I'm super hot. So he didn't let me stay there. That was the best thing for me. I never even felt the way about it. If I stayed there, I probably would have been chilling with girls, like doing all the regular shit, right? Not getting my life in order. I had to be out on the streets feeling that pressure. And that pressure this is in 2010, bro. We in 2024. I have not stopped my trajectory since then. You feel me? I went from homeless to mini homes. You feel me? And it's because of that seemingly uncomfortable moment. You feel me? So
it's the same thing with me, because you take a person back 10 years, look at who they're around, then look at their life. You fast forward a person that's successful, look at who they're around, look at their life.
Correct.
Right? Your environment changes, and that's part of the maintenance. That's why you can have a good day, but how do you have a good life?
Good life.
Right?
Quality life.
Poor people have good days. Rich people have good lives. That's the difference in the shift. I don't want to have a good day. So how was your day? Man, all my days are good. So what you're really checking is my temperament and my perspective of the day, which is a better question. How was your perspective? What did you learn today? That's a better question, because all my days are good. It's not this bipolar reality that I'm living, because that what you're saying is I'm not the person that I'm supposed to be. Right. The person I'm supposed to be is one who always lives at this frequency, no matter what comes my way. I deal with challenges like everybody else, but the way you deal with them, that's different. Right. Because I don't look outside myself when challenges come. I look inside myself, because I then confide to the God within. Right? You would never know my worst days. Right? Because I'ma still be in my best mind.
Well, there's an ethos. Only good things happen. Right? I live by that, and I put that on my brothers, whoever I'm around. Only good things happen. I've never heard Keys complain about nothing. Like, we'll complain about little shit that's insignificant, but not no real complaints, right? Yeah. And you ain't gonna hear me complain about nothing either. Maybe you'll complain about my neighbor's cat getting into my backyard. You feel me? Something like that. But there's nothing bad that happens to me. Why? Because I don't allow it. This is how a real divine alchemist bends reality. So he'll take, the essence of an alchemist back in the day was taking a base metal, a shitty metal, and turning it into a precious metal, right? Turning copper into gold. So now we transmute our lives, right? The events or the circumstances that we deal with, make that shit work for you.
Right.
That's a skill set, and y'all can have that. It's a powerful skill set, because with it, you're always free. I'm gonna give you an example. When I was fighting my cases, right, there was a possibility that I had to get sentenced to 15 years. I was all right with it. You know why? Because I'm like, okay, this is perfect. If I go sit still 15, I'm gonna do 10, maybe 9, good behavior, get in the program. I'm gonna run the area I'm in, because I got money, right? I'm gonna sharpen up my people skills, because when you're incarcerated, you learn how the real world is, right? It's real, and you have to calibrate yourself to a degree. Now, but the main thing I was excited about was like, yo, I'm gonna be on my Malcolm X journey. What Malcolm X did, I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna come out so powerful. Why? Because I have no distractions now. Going to bed on time. I'm not eating junk food, no alcohol, no drugs, no nothing, no distractions. I'm gonna come out a warrior, a spiritual warrior, right? So I'm like, cool, let's run it. Of course, that didn't happen, but if it did, I'm like, good, let's go, right? Ain't nothing you could do to a free person, right? Literally nothing, because every situation is my bitch.
That's fact. I think that's the, once you a lot of people operate at that fear level, then you get courage, which overrides the fear, and then you disconnect from the things that's happening. That's where like stoicism comes in. That's when you start to master the universe. It's going to happen. It is what it is. Let it be, right? And then I'll just be more. I can't control what happens. I can control how I react to it. These sort of alchemical processes that happen in your perspective allows you to be in a constant state of flow. Water doesn't complain. Water finds another way to flow.
To go.
If I'm going left, right, I'm going up. But you have to constantly flow. That's why Bruce Lee say, be like water.
And that's the ways of the Tao. That's why I'm a big fan of Lao Tzu and Tao Te Ching. It's just be like water. That water's in a cup. It breaks, it finds, it goes to where it's supposed to go naturally. In the little crevices, it goes to where it's supposed to go. It's too hot, it just changes forms and evaporates into the air, and is useful in another space. All right, so what was it? The law of thermodynamics. Energy cannot be created nor destroyed. That's something crazy to think about, right? It's hard to wrap your mind around the concept of something never being created, right? You can understand never being destroyed, just changing forms. So that's an interesting thing. This shows the true amalgamation of all things and all people. Listen, I want y'all to think about something real quick, right? everybody, think about this. This is a concept in Buddhism. And there's a story called The Egg that kind of like talks about this. Every human, we want to ascend to a higher level of existence, right? However, you will not ascend until you live every life that there is to live. So you will be me, I'll be you. You'll be your teacher, you'll be your mother, you'll be that handicapped kid, whatever. And this teaches you how to treat people, because everybody that you see or encounter is potentially you. Let's say this person is being an asshole. Versus matching that energy, you need to think and calibrate your behavior and your emotions, how to deal with that person, still with love, but still firm, for them to learn a lesson. You feel me? Look, the parents understand what I'm talking about, right? Your kids are gonna piss you off. They're kids, they don't know anything, right? They don't know better. But we can't just react to them at all. We have to deal with them with intellect and with love, right? And when you are ascending, all y'all in there, because there's a spectrum of humanity, right? It's a spectrum of like, this is like the base level, like you're kind of like an animal, and then up here you God level. God level, you are not reactionary. You are not moving on pure instincts, right? You always have a space in between, let's say, an emotional trigger and your decision. It's a space.
I seen somebody comment and say, it sucks because people use this for bad. I want you to stop for a second, because in your quandary thinking, you have to understand that your perspective is from a place of fear, right? So there's two people that listen to this. One person say, yes, thank you. I just got joy from these keys. I'm going to use that. This is how I'm going to use it. When you operate low level, you operate from a place of a victim. Things are happening to me, and now you're fearful of how other people will use things because they may use them against me. Versus, thank you, I'm empowered. This is how I'm going to use them to affect the world, right? So that puts yourself in the ascension chair of being a master. So instead of you worrying about what the world has in store, you worry about what you have in store and how you're going to change the world. I'm not worrying about how the world is changing. What is the impact that I'm going to have? You can only be fearful of the future if you don't have plans to run and control the future yourself. Because what you're really telling yourself is, I am fearful of the way other human beings live and how they use their time on this planet Earth. But I'm on this planet at the same time as you. So you done fucked up. You're in trouble. You know what I mean? If I wasn't on this planet, perhaps you can write these plans and they'll perfectly go to script. But you did not account, right, for the Neo or the Matrix. So now I'll come to shift shit. So now things will never be as they were. So this is why so many people are. They insecure, they jealous, they be having envy. Because they like, damn, if you didn't exist, maybe I'll be this. And it's not true.
That's never the case.
It's not actually true. People don't care. And I'm not speaking to you all here, but when you see somebody that has hatred or they put out these things, people don't care about those people. And they're mad that other people are getting the love that they not, because you are something that they're not, meaning that you have ascended who they are. And so they feel like you're robbing them, but they never possess the qualities that you have in order to steal from in the first place.
I remember somebody said to me one time, it was like in 2014 or so, when social media was really taking off, and they were kind of taking a jab at me, but they was being indirect and passive aggressive. So they were like, yeah, you know, if social media wasn't around, all these people making all this money, they wouldn't be making money. False. This is just one medium. The cream rises regardless.
Facts.
If it was magazines and all that shit, we still be the same people that you see doing the things will still be doing the things, all right?
If I was in slavery, I would have had an insurrection.
Facts.
I would have been Nat Turner.
Facts.
It's the same energy. It rises up over time. You feel me? If I was in the 60s, you know, I would have been Malcolm. You feel me? If I was in the 30s, I would have been Elijah Muhammad. If I was in the 1800s,
it's a beautiful thing.
I'd have been John Horse.
It's a beautiful thing. You see, I seen your brother that I knew from back in the day, right? I've always been the guy in every era of my life. You know what I'm saying? My life has always been fire, like a movie. So, yeah, don't listen. For all of those who may have a life that you are not extremely happy with yet, right? Get with the people that's living the way that you want to live. Get with the people that's inspiring the shit out of you. And don't just get with them for motivation. Get with them for the blueprint and follow it and do it. Because some people, we are fearless. Like, people like us are fearless. We'll try things. We take risks. We might get some bumps and bruises, but you ain't got to get that. You know what I'm saying? And we blaze trails, and we be like, all right, this is how, all right, it's clear over here. This is what you do. Walk, right?
So my brother Mills, he said, I believe people see your growth. This is why when I just started opening up. I just started opening up coaching for people, right, one-on-one.
Okay.
And this is something that is good to shift people's perspective, and it's beautiful when I get to do this. But I believe people see your work. But if you don't see it, they will manipulate you. They know exactly how strong you are, and they don't want you to ascend. See, this is another, what you don't realize, you're operating, your perspective is still from a place of fear, right? Because you're still worried about others. So you have to understand your frequency is in fear, it is in worry, it is in doubt, right? I don't even think like that, right? Meaning that I don't live there anymore, right? Because if I think like that, then that means that's what I'm emanating. That's where I'm living at. That's like if one person say, man, if I walked in here and gave all of you all $1 million, what you going to do with it? One person may operate from fear. Oh, man, who's a drug addict in here? They're going to mess their life up. Another person
That's
say,
a
well,
bizarre thing to say.
This is how I'm about to invest my money. Well, thank you. You know what I mean? Another person, said, wait a minute, I'm not ready for it. Everybody has different perspectives. Everybody's going to operate at a different frequency. There's only probably going to be one person that actually takes the money and they flip it. They double it. They trip it. You feel me? Or they set it across, because if you don't have the discipline for when you get the reward, sometimes if you got that amount of knowledge of self and self-awareness, and this is probably few men and women on the planet Earth, that if I gave you, right, the money or the asset at the wrong time, you wouldn't reject it and say, come back in 2 months and give it to me. No.
Never happened.
You wouldn't say, you know what, I'm going to wait till I understand what to do with it to do. We don't do that. So we take our power and we use it at any time.
But even if
the goal is preparation.
Even if you take the money and fuck it off, so what? You had a rich experience for a minute, right?
Well, that's most people.
And hopefully, look, I'm not mad at that because that's a real shit, right? But hopefully you learn something and try to get your ass back to it, and then it's more glorious once you get back. Once you get back to it, you see how we speak, right? I don't say if, I say once you do, right? You have to affirm these things. Far too often, people are casting bad magical spells on themselves, right? You'll never hear me saying nothing negative about myself, right? And y'all shouldn't do that either. Don't call yourself names. Your body responds on a cellular level, just like a plant can respond to things.
Get you a phone stand. Yeah, I need one that's on the window.
Your shoulders, give it out. You know what I'm saying? So y'all gotta be mindful of how y'all speak to yourself. Be kind to yourself, man. Speak power, dominance. Well, somebody said, look, they're trying to debate with me on my most recent post, right? And he's trying to be like, we're using the word, vulnerable, right?
Yeah.
I was using a literal definition. So he says, well, you can't use the definition. I said, actually, I can. He says, well, you're a black man. No, he said, well, you're black, so the definition of black ain't good. I said, I'm a god. My guy? Mm-hmm. What are we talking about?
Yeah.
So
they don't like that.
They don't like it. But it's true. Like it. It's true. So, yeah. Sometimes people try to just, flex their rhetorical muscles. But I got you on that too, baby. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So anyway, yeah. Yo, you want some lunch?
We can stop at Soho around there.
Let's do it.
Yeah. Peace to the gods and the family. Listen, I'm gonna tell you, when you say shift your frequency, stay in this frequency, this type of conversation. I'm about to start having these week to week in the High Level Masters Club. So make sure you apply. It's gonna be under the Platinum program. Come in high level, you join. If you stay amongst this frequency and fellowship in which we do right now, you're going to see your life change. And I mean that in getting more results in the way that you live, in the way that you operate. More money, more opportunities, more power. I get that just through fellowship and the proper brotherhood. So that's why I created this.